Hey crafty friends, Einat Kessler here with Saturday Extravaganza, and today I'm creating a Toys Shadow Box wall hanging. I have here some old jewelry boxes, you know, the ones that you get when somebody buys you a necklace or a ring or something like that. They're small cardboard boxes and they have a lid and a bottom part, and I'm going to use both parts in this project because, well, I get more real estate this way. So what I'm going to do is cover these boxes with paper. But since each of the boxes have a different size, I want to measure them first, and you know, if you want a nice good result, you need to be quite accurate. And remember that the both parts of the box also have different sizes. One is smaller than the other. So I'm just going to measure, and I want to show you the measuring process and how I measure each side. So I'm going to start with the walls on the side, and I'm just going to write it inside the box so I won't forget, and I know which measurements go with which box, because if I write it on a piece of paper, that's going to confuse me. So I'm just going to write it inside. It's going to be covered with the paper, so we're not going to see it later on, and it saves a lot of time. So I'll measure all the boxes, the sides. I'm going to start with that, and you have to measure on the outside as well as on the inside, because even those measurements are different, and each side or each part of the box will have to get a different size of paper. So it's kind of a process, but it's worth it if you want to be accurate and get a really nice result. And you can see that some of the boxes are deeper than the other, and that's what I want, because you get it that interesting look of the different boxes when I'm going to add them all together. So I have here some old toys that I found in my boys' stash. Most of them I gave away because they're now too big to play with all those toys, but the small ones I took, and I want to put them in the boxes and create little shadow boxes decorated with the theme of each box. You can see I have dinosaurs and soldiers and cars and a guitar, and each box is going to get a toy or two toys, and I'm just going to match the toys to their boxes now. And this way, the reason that I'm doing this in the beginning is that I would know what kind of paper I want to use, because I want the paper to match my toys. I want it to be like a themed little shadow box. So I'm picking the boxes for each of the toys, and then I can go ahead and start covering the boxes with paper. So I have a little airplane, I have some, you know, firemen and men at work, so to speak, and the soldiers and the cars and the guitar. And now I can pick my papers and start working on covering the boxes. So I have here a Tim Holtz paper with all the numbers. It's really cool. And I'm going to cover it, all the boxes from the outside. I'm going to use this paper to cover them. I'm not going to cover the back side of each box because it's going to be a wall hanging, so the back side will not be visible. So I'm just going to cover all the sides, the outside sides of the box, of each box. So I'm cutting my paper according to the measurements that I've written before in the box, as you saw, and have to be very accurate. Sometimes it's something with 1/16 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, so you have to be accurate when you cut it as well. So these pieces are going to go on this red box on the outside, so you need 4 to cover all 4 sides. And the reason I have to cover all four sides of each box is because I don't know yet how I'm going to glue them together. So I don't know which part is going to be visible and which is going to be hidden. So first I'm covering everything so I'll get that nice finished professional look, and then some of it will not be shown because they're going to be glued together. So once I've cut my pieces, I'm just gonna ink the edges with distress ink. Gonna give it that vintage look that I like. Plus the toys also are kind of old and vintage, so that goes really well. So once I'm done with that, I can go ahead and glue down the sides. And I don't mind that you see a little bit of red. I'm not going to cover that. I'm just going to make sure that the numbers all face the same direction. And I'm going to start. I've covered all the boxes from the outside. I didn't want to take you through that. It's just too long. You got the idea. So what I'm going to do now is measure the inside of each box, the sides and the bottom. And I'm going to cut the papers that I want to coordinate, to match with my theme. And this time I am going to write it on a piece of paper, because once I cover it I can't see the measurements. So for the cars, I think I will use that Tim Holtz paper there that has very old vintage cars on it. So these are the measurement for my first box, and I'm just gonna take my cutter and cut that according to measurements. Sometimes cutting and measuring can be kind of confusing, so go slow. Don't hurry the process. So I'm picking the part on the paper that I want to use, so the cars will be visible, at least some of them, because the cars are kind of big. The pattern is kind of big for the small box, but still it's going to show. Gonna do another cut. And sometimes even when you're measuring, you have to still adjust, because you know, believe it or not, those boxes are not perfectly straight, and sometimes you still need to make a little bit of adjustment and cut a little bit more here and there so it will fit to that space that you want it to cover. So I'm cutting the sides now, the inside part of all the walls of the box, and then I'm going to glue it down to my box. And I'm going to use coordinating paper for each theme that I have. Make sure it's all nice and burnished. I'm going to use, for the sides at least, I'm going to use the bone folder to make sure that it's all nice and burnished and no air bubbles here and there. You see, this one is a little too big, so I'm just going to use my scissors and snip off a little bit more until it fits. Still too big. And I'm just gonna make sure it fits. Still too big. Well, it's a process. You need to be patient, and if you're a perfectionist like I am, you'll keep on snipping until you reach the size that you want, but then it looks really good. I'm gonna add another piece of paper, and then the final piece, and then the box, the first one, will be ready. This is also kind of big, too long. Of course, it's best to make sure it fits before you put on the glue, but even then I recommend don't use dry glue, use wet glue, so this way if you want to make some changes or you want to cut a little bit more, then you can take it out and still use it. Well, if you use dry glue, then it becomes a little bit more complicated. So I'm just going over it with my bone folder, and the first box is ready. See how those cars are going to be in there? Okay, so now I have covered all the boxes. So this is the first one with the paper with the cars. For the plane, I took, well, paper with planes, obviously. Kind of neutral paper for all the men at work with little cogwheels in there. A map for the soldiers of the Pacific. A plain paper that resembles for the guitar, that resembles music sheet, and for the dinosaurs, kind of a leathery pattern paper. So now I'm gonna embellish and add stuff to each box that coordinates with the theme of the toys. So for the cars, I have here winding road sticker that I'm going to add in the back. And that's the fun part of this project, just to coordinate all the embellishments and the stickers to the toys. And of course you can use larger boxes and larger toys if you want to, or if you have them. Gonna add an arrow, and a little sign on the side. Remember, you need to embellish the sides too because they're visible as well. And a traffic light. And I'm gonna glue down the first car. I'll put the glue on the wheels because they're the part that's gonna touch the box. And what I want to do is put one car on the bottom and one on the side, but first I need it to dry. The first car, I need it to dry completely, because if I'm going to turn the box to glue down the other car, it's going to slide. So I'll put it aside and let it dry. This one is going to go here on the side. See? But we'll let it dry first and come back to it later. Now for the second box, the soldiers, I'll add a few stickers that I have here. Call of Duty, I think, will be really appropriate for this. And some dog tags as well. And I'm just gonna add a little chain with the dog tags, and I just want it to be going all around inside on the walls. So I'm applying a little bit of adhesive, and then I'll add the chain. Again, here we'll have to wait until it's dry, because otherwise it will fall or slide or whatever. You need to wait until the glue is dry. Plus it will look better, because when it dries it's clear. So we'll add the soldiers later. Have to work in stages. I have here some musical notes washi tape that I'm going to decorate the inside of the guitar box. And I think that will be the only thing I'll add, because it's kind of big. The guitar, I mean, I don't want it to block all the decorations that I'm adding. And I'm gonna glue it down leaning against the wall of the box, and that's gonna be really cool. I think I'm gonna do it. There's a little guy peeking in there. This way, I think better. Okay, we're gonna let that dry too. And for the plane has such a nice paper, so I'm just gonna add another plane, a sticker plane, and I'm not gonna add any more embellishments. Of course, the more space that you have, you can add more embellishments or stickers or whatever, anything that you want, but that I think is enough for me. So I'm gonna leave this hanging, the sticker, just like that. And for my men at work, I'm going to add some stickers as well. Obviously, men at work sign, and another sticker of clocks, because they work long hours and invest a lot of time in their work. It's sorry, out of focus there. And then I'm going to add 2 men are going to be inside the box, and there is 1 guy that is sitting, and once everything is dry, he is going to be sitting on the box. So that's kind of cool. I think I'm gonna try to glue him down now and hope it will dry and he won't fall. Okay, he just fell. That was very clever. Have to keep it straight so it will dry properly. And for my dinosaurs, I'm going to add a little felt sticker with some trees, because you know the dinosaurs used to live in a forest and all that. So I've just cut a piece of it so it will fit my box, because that sticker is big and the box is kind of small, so I only need 1 piece. And then I'm going to add a little piece on the wall as well, on the inside. That's too long. Sometimes getting the backing off is so annoying. Okay, and now again, one of the dinosaurs is going to be in the box and the other is going to be on top of the box, standing on it. So that's really cool. So the red one will go in there, and this guy, I don't know, maybe I'm going to use another guy because I don't want both reds. I think I'll see. Okay, so now I'm gluing down the other car inside the car's box, because the first one is dry. I can turn it now and add the other car, and again you need to wait until it's dry properly, and then we can join all the boxes together and nothing will fall. The chain is also dry. We can cut it and add the soldiers. Again, you have to work in stages here because you're creating a 3D project, and not all the things that you add are in a straight or in the same direction. So you need to work in stages until everything is dry, and then you can turn the box and add more stuff. I've also added a peace sign. Well, they're soldiers, but you know, make love, not war. That's the idea. So my soldiers are there. Put it aside to dry. This is the plane. I think that's enough for it. And for the guitar is also, I'm happy with it. And my little guy sitting up there is also dry. Just want to add some cogwheels to this box. Add a little bit of an industrial look to it because fits the theme of things here. add another one, make it 3. Okay, and I think everything is done except that little dinosaur that I need to add. So I'm just going to arrange all the boxes now that everything is dry. Just going to see how I'm going to attach them all together, in what order and how exactly am I going to do it, because I have no plan. I'll just play around with these guys and see which box will go where. Well, obviously this is not good because I can't put the dinosaur up there standing on top of the box, so I'll have to change things around a little bit. That's better. Maybe I'll flip them. Okay, this is the order, and now I'm putting glue where one box meet the other, and this way they will be very securely attached to one another. And once it's dry, only when it's dry, then you can hang it on the wall. Just add a little bit of a string or that contraption that you use to hang frames and stuff on the wall. Just make sure everything is straight and glued down. And now for my dinosaur box, I'm going to add that too. And now when everything will be dry, I can add that little dinosaur on top of the box, because it needs to stand there. Okay, took the yellow dinosaur and I'm going to add it on top of the dinosaur box, and I'm just gonna give it some support on the bottom so it won't fall, and wait until it's dry. Okay, this is the box. This is how it looks for the shadow box collection that we have. This is how it looks when it's dry. Isn't that cool? Really like that. It's a really nice embellishment for a boy's room to hang on the wall, and of course you can add more boxes and more boxes if you have more toys that you don't want to use. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope I've inspired you a little. Hit that subscribe button and visit my website www.einatkessler.com. You'll find a lot of classes there, a lot of tips, a lot of ideas and inspiration, and of course you can join my creative newsletter as well. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you all next time. Bye.